Now let's talk about a move that I really, really like here for Louisville. And I got to say, the ACC's had a strong week and a half here with Bill Belichick joining the conference, Darian Mensah going from Tulane to Duke. And then now this one, I think this could be the perfect pairing here, D, as Louisville lands talented quarterback Miller Moss coming over from USC. Jeff Brohm, thought of as one of the best quarterback coaches, QB developers, offensive minds in the country. And to me, like I said, I think this is a really good fit. Moss, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions this season, 2,555 yards through the air, was benched the final month of the season as USC was struggling. They had a 1-4 stretch through October into the first week of November there. 3 interception performance against Washington in the last game that he started. There was a lot of excitement and buzz about him at the end of last season, D, and then after the first game of the year, 378 yards against LSU, that was a fun performance to watch. Obviously, did not go how people thought it would the rest of the year. Lincoln Riley, we know his development quarterback process has been great over the years, but didn't seem to work out here with Miller Moss.
If you're a Lincoln Riley quarterback and you're not finishing the season in New York, you're a disappointment. So Moss certainly did not meet expectations at USC this year, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have talent and he doesn't fit in with Louisville. I think he does. You look at Louisville, of course, Coach Brohm, famous, just like Lincoln Riley was, quite frankly, for his quarterback development, his play calling. Jack Plummer, flawed quarterback, ended up taking him to the ACC championship game last year. This year, much more talented quarterback, in my view, with Tyler Shuck. And he was able to produce with Tyler Shuck, had a big win against Clemson. And Tyler Shuck, from everything I can tell, is headed to the NFL draft and will be drafted at the quarterback position in large part because of what he was able to do with Jeff Brohm. Tyler Shuck was someone who's well-traveled. He was at Texas Tech. He was at Oregon. So he'd been around the block. So Miller Moss comes to Louisville to try to have a similar, or Louisville. Got to get that right before the fans get at me, Pete. Louisville. I'm working on it. So he comes into town looking to revamp his career. And I think it's a fit because ACC pass rushes are not going to be as lethal as what you saw in the Big Ten. With some of, he's going to Michigan, playing against their incredible defensive tackles. He's gone against some really, really tough opponents at that spot. And now here in the ACC, it's a little lighter. It's a very quarterback-friendly conference. If you look at Kyle McCord, who made a similar transition from Big Ten to the ACC, ends up being a top 10 Heisman finalist. There are similarities between Kyle McCord and Miller Moss just as far as being cerebral quarterbacks. So if you put some receivers around him, and I believe Colin Lacey announced he's going to return at the receiver position for Louisville. So he's got weapons. You'll maybe add more in the portal here for Louisville. I'm excited to see what it looks like with Miller Moss manning the controls and being that sort of, it's almost like Jeff Brohm has the controller, right? And he's the offensive coordinator. He wants to call plays where someone's going to execute the play as it's called, who's going to be a coach on the field and not someone who's just going to be freestyling. Miller Moss is that he can execute the coach's vision, how he wants to do it. He's an accurate thrower, has more than enough arm strength for the ACC level. He's not a Caleb Williams in terms of talent or a Lamar Jackson or whoever you want to use as a comparison, Louisville, Lincoln Riley quarterbacks. But cerebral, yes. His mom's a professor at USC. This guy's a guy who makes very good decisions, accurate passer, ran into some interception problems, but I don't think that was because of, that he didn't see the field. I think he was just trying to do too much. The team it just wasn't clicking. I could see him going to Louisville and making a big impact, more so in a Kyle McCord fashion than a Tyler Shuck. I think Tyler Shuck was a better athlete, more talented than Miller Moss. But Miller Moss, I could see like a Kyle McCord just running the show. If you give him receivers, he can make things happen.
Jeff Brohm saw all he needed to see last year in the bowl game as USC beat Louisville in that game 42-28, and Miller Moss threw for 372 yards and 6 touchdowns in that game against Louisville. So that was, like I said, I think Jeff Brohm got to see it up close and personal there and said, yeah, that's about what we need here at Louisville. So